Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Steph's Movies and Music. I am, of course, your host, Steph. We are here today to discuss the Blue Oyster Cult concert that has taken place here in St. Louis on October 4th. Yeah, I knew that. I knew it. October 4th, 2024. It was in St. Charles. On the way home, I stopped by QT and got myself a sandwich. Where's the mustard at? Seriously, where's the mustard at? Can somebody tell me where the mustard is at? Also, I should mention that opening for Blue Oyster Cult was Jason Scheff, who was a longtime singer of the band Chicago, who I have also seen. He was in the band from 1985 to 2016. We're going to talk about him. We're also going to talk about Tommy DiCarlo. He was the next one on after him. He was the lead singer for Boston for about 15 years or so. I think like from 2008 to like 2023 or something like that. So it's not like he was there for any of his hits. He's more of basically a Boston tribute band, basically is what he is. And Jason Scheff is basically a Chicago tribute band to an extent. He's just a little bit more notable because he was actually in the band during some of their hits. They actually had quite a few hits with him still. Not as much as they did with Peter Cetera, but he's still a notable member that was in Chicago. But I'm not going to talk about them right now. I'm going to talk about them later. I want to focus on Blue Oyster Cult for the moment. Good show, okay? Right off the bat, I just want to say it was a good show. What was so great about it? Mainly the musicianship. All the guitar work, the drum work, the keyboards were great. Just how coordinated everybody was with each other was very, very impressive, especially for them being old. I mean, not everybody in the band is old. I should actually mention who all is still in the band. I don't know names, and I'll put a little thing here from like Wikipedia or something of the lineup, the current lineup of Blue Oyster Cult. But the most important members that are still left in Blue Oyster Cult are Buck Dharma and Eric Bloom. They are both getting pretty close to 80 years old. In fact, Eric Bloom will be 80 this December. And yet they're still really good musicians to this very day. There was both Eric Bloom and Buck Dharma both play guitar, lead and rhythm. They're always there. They're always out there. Both of them can shred. Eric didn't really shred all that much, but he still played it like nobody's business. Buck Dharma did do some shredding. Even their keyboard player, who really only played keyboards for about half the show, he would also switch out with Eric Bloom. Eric Bloom would get on keyboards, and then the keyboard player, I forget his name, would get on like a rhythm guitar, and sometimes he'd even play lead guitar. He's a really good musician too. He played the guitar like nobody's business, and he could also sing really well too. He sang a couple of the songs. So anyway, without getting too much more into that, I just wanted to make clear that the main selling point here is there are two very notable members still left in the band. Technically only one original member. That would be Buck Dharma, of course. He founded the band back in 1967, and then Eric Bloom joined in 1969, so technically not original. Still a very, very important member of the band. And he's been on all the albums, so he's basically original. Vocals are starting to get a little thin, shall we say. And who knows, this could have been going on for the last couple of years. I've only just now seen them. I haven't looked up what they sound like a few years ago, or even like a year ago. Maybe this has been a thing that's been happening for a while. Like I said, they're both starting to get pretty high up there in age. But as far as the two, I'm going to just refer to them as the two original members go. Their vocals here and there were a little questionable. They weren't 100% there. For example, for Burning for You, which Buck Dharma sings lead vocals on, his voice got a little finicky. still sounded relatively like the song. To be fair, neither of them were ever really the best singers to begin with. And it's not like really any of their songs require that much crazy high notes or anything like that. And the set list was pretty good. They played pretty much everything I would expect them to play. We already talked about Burning to You. They, of course, played Don't Fear the Reaper. They played Godzilla. And they even played the deeper tracks like ETI, which stands for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. And they played a lot of the earlier Blue Oyster Cult stuff from the very early 70s. And they also played a few tracks from their 2020 album, The Symbol Remains, which I actually have. I originally bought it to do an album review on, but I never ended up doing it. So anyway, Blue Oyster Cult as a band still performs. They put on a great show. It would be cool if they could get some pyrotechnics on there. I guess the budget's not that big as far as for them as far as special effects go. It's mainly just lighting and a smoke machine. And you know what? It did the job. You know, they didn't really need it. They said enough with their musical talent that they didn't really need to have this big old show. And another thing about the vocals is Burning for You was like the 5th song that they played. And like I said, his vocals, Buck Dharma's vocals were getting a little scratchy on that song. But then they went off and played Don't Fear the Reaper and Godzilla, and it sounded very close to the recording. So I think their voices kind of help each other. They kind of, like, this one fills in the gaps that this one's leaving, and then this one fills in the gaps that the other one's leaving. Their voices mesh together very well. And both of them have similar voices to begin with anyway. So yeah, would I recommend seeing Blue Oyster Cult? Even if you've seen them already? Yeah, I think I would recommend seeing them. Yeah, I would say go ahead and go see Blue Oyster Cult while you still can. However, I will say that it says on their shirt, which I did buy, Blue Oyster Cult, it says on here, on tour forever. That's a bit of a problem. I think that they should hang it up in a couple years. Really, a couple years at the most. Like I said, I would recommend seeing them, but you don't want to stay out so long that you get embarrassing. They're going to cross the threshold within the next couple years of being hard rockers that still put on a really good show to being acceptable, kind of like REO Speedwagon. They're acceptable, although they're retiring soon, apparently, as well. And then after that, of course, you have just embarrassing. Like, you should not be out. They really should pack their bags before they even get to the acceptable part. You want to go out with a bang. So I would advise that they do this for maybe another year or two. Make sure you got enough money saved up for the rest of your life, which, unfortunately, with them, you never know how much longer that really is. And just enjoy the rest of the time you have. Maybe do the occasional gig, like 6 or 7 dates a year at the most. So I don't think they should be on tour forever. I do recommend seeing them whenever you can. That said, I recommend to them that they call it quits in the next couple years before they start sounding less than what they are right now. There you go. Now let's talk about Tommy DeCarlo first. And really, Tommy DeCarlo should have opened the show. But he's not a dead ringer for Brad Delp from Boston. Nobody is. Nobody will be, as far as I'm concerned. He does a really good job, though. That said, he wasn't with Boston for any of their hits. Jason Scheff was with Chicago for some of their hits. I feel like he should have gotten billing over Tommy DiCarlo, but whatever. They both played, I think, 10 or 11 songs each. So anyway, Tommy DiCarlo still sounds really good. Does a great job. I don't want to focus on him or Jason Scheff too much. I mainly just wanted to focus on Blue Oyster Cult. Tommy DiCarlo does a good job of singing all the Boston songs. They played Amanda, they played More Than a Feeling, they played Peace of Mind, they played Long Time, they played Smokin', they played American Band, I think. Or no, Rock and Roll Band, whichever one it is. They played Don't Look Back. They played all the essential Boston songs, although Something About You was missing, and a couple other ones that I would have liked to hear, but it's fine. Jason Scheff sounded really good too. It's definitely really clear why they chose him when Peter Cetera left. He's not exactly a dead ringer, but still same type of tenor, same type of voice. It's really impressive that he's held up over the years. And I'm pretty sure Peter Cetera has actually held up pretty good over the years too. The only problem that I have with Jason Scheff, is he a viable singer? Yes. Would I recommend going to see him in concert? Sure, why not? In this case though, opening for Blue Oyster Cult, the set list was a little bit disappointing. He played a bunch of Chicago hits, and there's nothing wrong with that. Only one or maybe two of them were actually hits that he had with Chicago. And those hits that he had with Chicago were a little limited. I mean, there's not dozens of them like they did with Peter Cetera. They had probably at least 5 notable hits with Jason Scheff, and he played 1 or 2 of those. Cause I can't go on. No, I can't go on. I can't go on if I'm on my own. He mainly played the Peter Cetera stuff and the Bill Champlin stuff. It is what it is, and it's fine. Everybody sounded pretty good vocally. I would say the opener sounded the best vocally. They have a little bit more of a responsibility as far as vocals go. Blue Oyster Cult was never known for the great vocals, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot that they sound not quite as well as they used to. So yeah, there you go. I hope that explains everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. And we'll see you guys later. Steph signing off.